start with the prayers. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Our text for study is Kathopanishad, and today we are going to study the second chapter, the seventh mantra, the 11th mantra. Kathopanishad is one of the primary Upanishads, like Mandukya Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishads. So it deals directly with the study of Atma, like all other Upanishads. The beauty of this text is, the teacher is the Lord of Death, the one who is in charge of birth and death in this world, the Devata. Now, who else can know what is happening in this world other than the Lord of Death? Because he sees what happens after the body leaves this universe and what happens when the body is in the universe. That is why Nachiketa, the student, asks a brilliant question to Lord Yamadharmaraja. Oh Lord, teach me, what is this phenomena called death? The answer to this question is the entire Upanishad. Today we are going to study a very, very important mantra. The first mantra which we are going to study is a very important mantra. If you understand this mantra well, you will be able to understand the entire Advaita Vedanta. I will explain to you as we go by. In the vision of Upanishad, there is some truth, some reality which is existing all the time, which is the Nitya Vastu. That is what is being discovered by the study of Upanishads. There is something permanent in this universe. That permanent thing we don't know. As seekers, we don't know what it is. The Upanishad has a very beautiful style of teaching. And it will reveal to those people who have got a pure mind, unagitated mind, not a turbulent mind, those people will be able to see the truth. There is a verse which will be studied. It says very clearly, through mind only you have to know the truth. But what type of mind, the Upanishad will tell us. So this short introduction, I will go into the crux of the teaching where we left last week. We completed the 10th mantra, and today we are going to start the 11th mantra.
मनसैवेदमाप्तव्यम् मनसैवेदमाप्तव्यम् नेह नानास्ति किञ्चन नेह नानास्ति किञ्चन मृत्यो स मृत्युं गच्छति मृत्यो स मृत्युं गच्छति य इह नानेव पश्यति य इव नानेव पश्यति.
The first thing which Lord Yamadharmaraja is teaching in this verse is we have to realize Brahman or this Vastu called as Turiya Atma through our mind only. That's the first thing in this verse. Neha Nana Kinchana. This is a very, very important sentence in the entire Kathopanishad. Neha Nana Asti Kinchana. There is no duality at all in this universe. This is the ultimate truth of the universe. There is no duality. There is no Dvaita. This is what we have to learn through this Upanishad. How come we say that there is no Dvaitam? This is a very big inquiry in Brahma Sutra. This particular verse is a very big inquiry, very, very big inquiry in Mandukya Upanishad. And then the third portion is, it says, whoever sees differences in this universe, he is the person who is going from depth to depth. So three statements is being made here. Number one, I have to use my mind. That means I cannot sit in samadhi and say that I have realized. Through the mind only, my mind has to go in the direction of Atma. Number two, in the ultimate reality, there is no universe. Universe is full of Dvaita. Universe has got objects and beings. I, the seer, am seeing Dvaita. I am experiencing Dvaita. But this is not the truth. The truth is, Advaitam is the truth. This verse is one of the pramanams, very important pramanam for Advaita Siddhartha. How does Shankaracharya derive Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahma Eva Naparaha? Brahman is Satyam. This is one of the verses which is a very important. Conclude this particular statement. And the second portion, Jagan Mithya. The world is Mithya. That is derived from this verse. So please mark this verse as a very important verse, like the other verses which I have already discussed. This is a very important verse. If you can by heart, you by heart, so that you can contemplate on this. See, what happens is, Shravanam is only the first step. Our mind has to contemplate on this verse. Contemplate means what? I have to think, how does the Upanishad say there is no duality in this world? I'll give you the reason for it, then it becomes very easy. So seeing the plurality is not a problem. Everybody sees plurality because the eyes are designed to see plurality. The ears are designed to hear the sound which is in duality. But what makes the difference to an Advaita seeker is, from this verse, he concludes that whatever I'm seeing is not real. It is not real means what? It is not permanently there. It is not eternal. But there is something which is eternal. See, with reference to the non-eternality, with reference to the impermanent only, we say there is eternal. So, Eternal has got a meaning with reference to impermanent, transitory, fleeting. So the one who keeps on identifying with the world as the ultimate reality will be in samsara. The one who sees the world as an appearance and I am the adhishtanam, I am the substratum, like the screen of a TV. The waking state is like the movie. It is superimposed on the screen. The whole waking state, dream state is superimposed on Turiya Atma. The one who knows this superimposition, he is the one who is a Mukta Purusha. Because he will not take the world as permanently existing. He will say, I am eternal. I am the screen. I am the consciousness. This concept is mind boggling. But this is the way the fact is. You cannot run away from a fact. Iha nana kinchana na asti. This fact is revealed. Iha nana kinchana na asti means what? There is nothing else except this pure Brahman. This fact is revealed by Upanishad. World rises from this Brahman, from this consciousness, from this awareness, and it resolves into this consciousness. Division belongs to name and form, but substance is one. For example, there is one substance called as gold. It is in different forms, in the ring form, in the form, in the chain form. So form is different, and for that form, I give a name. Ring, chain, bangle. I give a name to a form. Similarly, in this world, for all the objects and beings which are only forms, I am giving a name to the form Shanti, Prabha, all these names which I give, Shiva, Rama, Sita, these are names. But what is the universe? It is not Panchabhutas. Universe is consciousness awareness. Awareness plus name and form is the universe. The material cause for the universe is consciousness. And this consciousness is non-dual. See, this is a technical verse. Try to pick it up, because once you pick up this verse, the knowledge, the depth of this verse, you understand. It is a giant step in understanding Vedanta. Giant step. Your intellect will then accept the whole world as nothing but pure Atma. If you don't understand this verse, any aspects you have doubts, please ask me at the end of the talk. I will try to clear it. No plurality existed in the past. No plurality exists in the present. And no plurality will exist in the future. Very, very bold statement of the Upanishad. The Upanishad says, Asti. Neha nana asti kinchana. In the present, there is nothing. Right now, we are experiencing the world. We are doing this session. We are doing this class. But still the Upanishad says, this is a fleeting phenomena. What exists is only awareness, consciousness, truth. That consciousness is Advaitam. Normally, when we start Vedanta, normally we will say you do upasana, you do meditation, you do contemplation, then Dvaitam will merge and I will have Advaitam. It will merge. Where? It will merge into Atma. Now, Upanishad does not say that I will have Advaitam in the future. It doesn't say Advaitam was there in the past, before my birth. What it says is Advaitam is there right now and it is eternally there. It is an eternal fact. Like we are all surviving on oxygen. The body survives on oxygen. All the bodies and all the beings everywhere in the universe, they survive on oxygen. Without oxygen, there is no body. It's a fact, eternal. In the past, in the present, in the future. So the wave of changes go from mortality to immortality only through jnana. I can go to immortality only through jnanam, not in any other way. Jnanam is the only method. Through knowledge, I can drop my mortality cognitively, not physically. Physically, body will die. But in my mind, in my intellect, I will register the fact that I am the Atma consciousness, which is always there. How to get this jnanam? Manasa eva idam aptavyam. Jnanam has to be got only with the help of the instrument called as the mind. So never try to dismiss the mind in meditation. By stopping the mind, you can never get the knowledge. Inquiry is what gives you the knowledge. Mind is an instrument. It is what I have to use to know the truth. This Advaita Jnanam can be registered in our mind only when the mind is pure. For example, if you are going to eat food in a plate, first you wash the plate and then you put the food and then you eat. Now, washing is necessary or not? Washing is necessary to eat the food. Similarly, viveka, vairagyam, shama, dhamma, values, devotion, compassion, all this is necessary for having the dish called as moksha. Ultimately, the food which we eat is the Shastra food. The Shastra becomes the food we enjoy, we relish in that Shastra Jnanam, and we get moksha. Yen manasa na manute yenahur manomatam tadeva brahma tvam vidhi nedam yedidam upasate. This verse number 5 of Kathopanishad must be familiar to all of you because we have done Kathopanishad where he said that it is the mind which will ultimately know Brahman. There is no other instrument available to us. The body is inert. Body cannot know Brahman. Mind is the instrument which will know. Body is inert. It cannot know Brahman. My hand cannot know Brahman, but my mind can know Brahman. Because that pure consciousness gets reflected in the mind. Sadeva Brahma. That alone is Brahman. What gets reflected in the mind, that alone is Brahman. Mundaka Upanishad says that by means of the life intellect, which is called as intuitive faculty. Intuition will come only when you have studied Vedanta. Otherwise, you won't get intuition. So, through the study of Vedanta, through the study of Upanishads, when I look at the world, then I can say I have realized the truth. Mind is required, mind cannot know. You see, there is a mind is required, but mind can't know. Mind can't know means what? Ordinary mind, which is an unprepared mind, cannot know Atma. A qualified mind, a prepared mind knows Atma. Okay? So, this is the essence of the mantra. And what I want to do now is the next mantra of the mantra number 12 of Kathopanishad. Give me the roles of what the mind plays. Okay, but before that, I want to give you a little bit of gist from Mandukya Upanishad. I don't have any notes for that, but I thought let me tell you a little bit about how Mandukya Upanishad, there is one verse in Mandukya Upanishad. Try to understand from what I'm saying here. See, in Advaitam, there are statements made where we say Advaitam is not absence of Dvaitam. It is not absence of Dvaita experience. Try to understand this portion. I'm now talking about chapter 4, Mandukya Upanishad, verse number 73. So that verse I'm trying to explain to you. I don't have the notes, but I thought maybe you will find it useful. Try to pick up the concept called Advaita. For the next 10-15 minutes, maybe I'm going to talk on this particular mantra of Mandukya. Then I will go to the 12th mantra of Kathopanishad. Now, in Advaitam, we say Advaitam is ultimate truth in spite of the Dvaita experience. First thing you should know what is Advaita. Advaita means there is nothing else except Brahman. That is the concept of Advaita. Turiya Atma. Mantra number 7 of Mandukya Upanishad. There are many people who are attending both the sessions. That's why the reasons why I'm taking this Mandukya mantra also. So, mantra number 7 of Mandukya Upanishad says very clearly, defines this Atma. Like how this Kathopanishad also defined Atma as a Shabdam, a Sparsham, a Rupam, a Gandham, a Rasam. It is not an object of the sense organs. That is what Kathopanishad describes Atma as. Mantra number 7 says it is not Antaprajnam, na Bahishprajnam, no Ubhaya Prajnam, na Prajnam. That means it negates all the 3 states of experience there in Mandukya Upanishad. All. After negating, it says Advaitam, Chaturtham Manyante. The 4th state is called as Advaitam. It is called as Turiya Atma. Here also, you can see the relevance. Here it says, Neha Nanasti Kinchana. That means the same concept like in Mandukya Upanishad. The Upanishad there negates all the 3 states. Here it negates all the sense objects of the universe by saying Ashabdam, Asparsham, Arupam, and then saying Neha Nanasti Kinchana. Dvaita Anubhava cannot challenge Advaita Jnanam. Try to understand each of this, whatever I'm saying. Dvaitam experience cannot challenge Advaita Jnanam. I'll give you some 3 or 4 examples then to be clear. We see a star, but when we see a star, we experience it as what? Very small star. Whether it is a sun, whether it is a star, billions of light years away from us. But to our eyes, it looks very small. What is the jnanam? What is the fact? That star is 1,000 times bigger than our Earth, than our planet. Blue sky. So experience a small star, but the fact is, it's a big star. Blue sky is our experience. The sky is colorless, is a fact. The sun goes round the earth, is our experience. The sun is stationary, is a fact. Earth is stationary, is our experience. But the earth is going at miles, running at miles. It's in motion all the time. The moonlight, we see the light of the moon, and we say that is moon's light. But the fact is, it is the sun's light which is reflected on the moon. Similarly, Dvaitam is experienced by the sense organs, but Advaitam is a fact which is revealed by the Upanishad. Upanishad is the only pramanam which reveals this truth to me. So, Anubhava does not contradict Jnanam. There is no dosha in this. Vaitam experience is born because of ignorance, which is called as Mula Avidya. Ignorance is of the Turiya Atma. Ignorance is of the Brahman. There is another concept which Shankaracharya introduces in this particular mantra's commentary in Mandukya Upanishad. This is a very, very profound concept which you will study it when you do Mandukya Upanishad in a very systematic manner. I am only giving you what the conclusion is. He says there are 2 types of unreal vastu which are superimposed in art. 2 types of superimpositions are there. One superimposition is deliberate superimposition. And the second superimposition is caused because of ignorance. See, there is a Purva Pakshi, an opponent in that mantra in 73, who says that even Upanishad also is describing of Dvaitam. It talks about creation, it talks about karma yoga, upasana yoga. For all this, you will require objects in the world. So Shastra itself is doing adhyaroha of Dvaita Prapancha. How can you negate it? How you Advaitin are negating Dvaita Prapancha and saying Neha Nasti Kinchana? There's nothing in the universe. Here, Shankaracharya comes out with a brilliant commentary. He says that Upanishads start from where we are as a junior student. First, Upanishad does Adhyaro. All of us are seeing the universe. So it starts with the universe. Even Taittiriya Upanishad says, it says, Brahma Vida Apnoti Tadesham Yuktam Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. And then it says, from this Atma, the universe, Akasha, Sambhutaha, from Akasha comes Vayu, from Vayu comes Agni, and so on. So that is the starting point of the Upanishad. That means in the beginning, the Upanishad takes the creation and it superimposes the creation on Atma or Brahman. This is for the teaching purpose. See how Shankaracharya explains this with full reasoning. So there is an Adhyaropa stage, the teaching process stage, which is where the Upanishad accepts creation and it deliberately superimposes on the Atma. Brahman is supposed to be Karanam, the world is supposed to be Karya. That is the first stage. Then the Upanishad doesn't stop there. Upanishad deliberately does the second step, which is called as Apavada. First step is called as Adhyaropa. Second step is called as Apavada. In Apavada, Upanishad says, Neha nanasti kinchana. There is nothing called as universe. Nachamastani bhutani. Chapter 9, fifth verse, Bhagavad Gita. First it says the creation is there. It is there in me. That is Adhyaropa stage. Next, the next verse it says the universe is not in me. The fifth verse of ninth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Nachamastani bhutani pashyame yogameshwaro. There is no world in me. That is the Neha Nanasti Kinchana portion, which is called as Apavada portion. This Apavada is done because we are doing the first stage of Adhyaropa by an error. Due to error of ignorance, we superimpose Dvaitam on Atma. To negate this second type of unreality, the first type is the Shastra itself does it. It is a deliberate. But this is the second one is not deliberate. The second superimposition is ignorance born Dvaita. Ignorance born superimposition. I don't know, I am the pure Atma, I can exist without this universe. Understand this fact very clearly. This is the ultimate teaching of the Upanishad. I am pure Atma. When you say pure means what? It doesn't have anything else except itself. But what about the world which I experience? That is superimposed by error. Because I don't know. Like rope snake is superimposed on the rope. Rope is Atma, the Turiya Atma. But I don't know the Turiya Atma. Shantam, Shivam, Advaitam, Atma, I don't know. The Chaturtha Pada, I don't know. What is the Chaturpada? Chaturtha it is not the waking state. It is not the dream state. It is not even the sleep state. But it is born out of a delusion in my intellect. That delusion in the intellect is what the Upanishad wants to remove from our intellect. That is the importance of this verse number 11 of Kathopanishad. Neha nana asti kinchana is the Apavada portion. Then Shankaracharya there gives a beautiful example of our face. Suppose I want to put a chandanam or a kumkum in my face. or a vibhuti. I use a mirror to see my face. I cannot see my face on my own. There is no way I can put chandanam or kumkumam without seeing the mirror. I'll be putting it all wrong places except the place where I really want it to go. So mirror is used for seeing my face in a reflected surface. With the help of the reflection of the reflected face, I can then put the correct, I can understand where my face is, where I can put my kumkum. Let us take the example of Shastra. Shastra or scriptures is a mirror. I have to look at that mirror and see my face, my original face, which is Turiyam, which is Brahman. You can call it by any name. Name can be different in different Upanishad. In Bhagavad Gita, it says Uttama Purusha. Chandogya Upanishad says Bhuma, Tattvamasi. All these are all of trying to see that face. So, in the case of my original nature, I bring this mantra number 7 of Mandukya and I use the 11th mantra of Kathopanishad, where Bhagavan teaches me how to see my pure nature without the world. Awareness, pure awareness without the universe is the ultimate central teaching of all Upanishads. If I can see that face of mine without the universe, which I am, which is my reality, which is my Swarupa, to see that face, the original face, Guru, Shastram, which is unreal, which is Mithya, is required to see the original face. So, mind, which is the Shastram, is important to reveal the ultimate original face, which is what the Upanishad wants to reveal. Whenever Veda talks about creation, understand it doesn't want creation is not the ultimate teaching of the Veda. Ultimate teaching of the Veda is use the creation to see your original face, to see your original nature as consciousness. There, the Purva Pakshi asks, why do you say that the world is unreal? It is because we use the pramanam called as Upanishad, like this mantra which we have seen, which says Neha Nanasti Kinchana. Upanishad itself negates the creation. When the Upanishad negates a creation, that we know then that creation is not the Tatparyam, it is not the central essential teaching of the Upanishad. It is an incidental teaching. But what is the central teaching? Central teaching is Brahman or Atma. So creation is a deliberate superimposition on Turiya Atma. This is what Advaitin will say. What about all other philosophers, including science? Advaitam says creation is mithya, it is a false entity. It is useful to know I am the pure consciousness. All other philosophers, including science, will say that creation is real. Creation is real. I am the one who am in the creation. I am the consciousness. Samkhya also says you are consciousness. But what they say is duality is the reality. There is creation, I am also there. I am consciousness, creation is inert. So I and both of them have got equal reality is other philosophers. All other philosophers that are Dvaita philosophers, Veda Advaitin is only philosopher who uses this Kathopanishad statement, Neha Nanasti Kinchana, as a statement of fact. Universe appears. We don't negate the experience of the universe. We only challenge the reality of the universe. We say it is an appearance, it is mithya. I am the Satya Vastu. I, the consciousness, am always there. I don't have any death. Death belongs to the universe, death belongs to the body, death belongs to the mind, but it doesn't belong to the consciousness, which is pure Atma. Okay, so you can see how deep this 11th verse of Kathopanishad. It is very, very deep. It is commented by Shankaracharya. This verse is an extremely important verse. It is used in Brahma Sutra. It is used by Shankaracharya for 10, 12 times in Mandukya Upanishad, exactly like the Bhagavad Gita mantra of chapter 9, 4, and 5. He uses these mantras again and again, repeating to us. When we look at these mantras only and study the relevance of these mantras, the real Advaita knowledge takes place in our intellect. Okay? So with this, I will conclude verse number 11. I will proceed to verse number 12. And in this verse, number 12, the the Upanishad says that this Atma is hidden in our intellect. This is said in the 12th mantra of the third chapter of the first section. It is not the 12th chapter, 12th mantra of the second section. Here it said, we have already covered this, that this Atma is hidden in our intellect, like the Taittiriya Upanishad says, Brahmavida apnoti param tadesham yuktam. You search in your intellect. Don't search outside. You will never find it. So when you search the intellect, what happens? You see that the mind is called as Antakaranam. Now, the Antakaranam can be used as an instrument to know the truth and to know the world. But the mind is also a locus of knowledge. So it is used for jnana. What type of jnanam? All the sense perceptions which come into our mind, that is the locus. Mind is acting as a locus for all the jnanam to take place, all the thought modifications to take place. It is used for jnana. Okay, so it is this mind which we have to use, it is the patram, it is the receptacle for Atma Jnanam also. Mind is a locus for Atma Jnanam. Mind is a locus, is an instrument for sense organs, Jnanam through the sense organs. Naisha tarke mati rapaneya. That means don't use logic only for understanding Vedanta. If you want to know the ultimate truth, there are two ways. One is you use Shastram as the primary pramanam, you will reach the truth, and logic as a secondary pramanam. There are many, many, many seekers who don't understand this fact. Again and again, they will use logic. They use logic as the primary, and they use Shastra as the secondary. There is no use. You will never arrive at the truth because through logic, you cannot arrive at truth. It is said in the Veda, it is said, Naisha Tarkena Matirapaneya. Kathopanishad says, there is a verse there, which we'll see later. It says, logic will not get you to the truth, but it is the Veda, the Upanishadic Pramanam, which will take you to the truth. Mrityo samrityum gachati. The one who sees duality. See, now we are getting into the, the ultimate knowledge of all Upanishads. This this is a this Neha Nanasti Kinchana is an Apavada portion for a senior student who has understood that the world I experience is a mithya. It is a appearing like a dream world. It appears and disappears, appears and disappears. So never probe into this world too much. You will never get an answer. Why this is happening to me? No, there cannot be. You keep probing, you will never get an answer because it is a fleeting thing. It is born out of avidya. And you are asking, what is that? You are asking a question about that ignorance. Through ignorance, you can never reach. What you can reach is only by using the Veda as a pramanam, as a mirror. There will be a change in perspective when you get this jnanam, atma jnanam, revealed by Upanishads. Otherwise, you will be traveling from samsara to samsara. You will never achieve moksha. This is a clear, it's a clear statement by the Upanishad. Dvaitam will not give you moksha. Advaitam will give you moksha. How to arrive at Advaitam? Use the Shastric mirror. Neha nanasti kinchana. There is no world except pure Brahman. See, Sarvatma Bhava. Atma is the awareness in all the bodies. There is no substance called as Anatma. Everything is only Atma, which we saw from the 5th verse to the 10th verse of this section. First section of the 2nd chapter. We have covered, we are doing the 11th verse now. We have covered that all this world which we are saying is nothing but it is Atma with a different name and form. So, Sarvatma Bhava Phalam. We had asked this question, this ignorance, is it bhava or abhava? We did this last week. What it says here is, in this verse is, when you understand it is this Atma, which is the substratum of the entire universe, then you will destroy rebirth. Punarjanma. Whoever is seeing plurality, he will be born again. Whoever sees ekatvam, advaitam, he will never be born again. This is a promise of the Upanishad. See, many of us, once we have seen what we can really get out of this life, we come to a conclusion there is nothing much. But if you get Atma Jnanam, it's a great fulfillment. Purnatvam is called as moksha. How do you get Purnatvam? Nehanana stikinchana. There is nothing except me, the consciousness. Nanatva darshanam is Dvaita darshanam. Nanatva darshanam is plurality. Okay. All right. So with this, we close the 11th mantra. We will study the 12th mantra now. 12, 13, 14, 15. There are 4 mantras left for this section. For the first section, of this second chapter. The 12th mantra.
अङ्गुष्ठमात्रः पुरुषाः अङ्गुष्ठमात्रः पुरुषाः मध्य आत्मनि तिष्ठति मध्य आत्मनि तिष्ठति ईशानां भूतभव्यस्य ईशानं भूतभव्यस्य न ततो विजुगुप्सते न ततो विजुगुप्सते एतद्वैतत् एतद्वैतत्
Etat vaitat. Oh, Nachiketa, this is what you wanted to know. What is that? Yes, that Purusha, that ancient Purusha, that consciousness, it is always there. And you want to know where it is? It is there in your own intellect, in your own heart, of the size of a thumb. In the middle of the body, in your heart, you can meditate on that and realize consciousness is the Lord of the past, Lord of the future. You wanted to know, right? You asked me a question. Is there anything which is beyond the past and which is beyond the future? Yes, there is that consciousness, there is that awareness principle in which there is no time. That time you can realize by doing an upasana, doing a meditation on this consciousness of the size of the thumb. The essential identity of the Vyashti and Samashti. Vyashti means individual self, microcosm, and the macrocosm. Macrocosm is the entire cosmos. Whatever your eyes can go up to, the whole cosmos. So, what is the nature of the jiva and jiva purusha? The nature of the jivatma is it is pure consciousness. And where is that consciousness located? Madhye Atmani Tishtari. It is as though located in the center of the heart, physical heart. In the heart, they say the locus of the mind, they say, is the heart. So in the heart, there is this consciousness. It indicates Jiva is a witness of all the thoughts. I, the consciousness, am the witness. See, you cannot go inside your heart and check, but you can see what is that in this body which is a witness to all the thoughts which are arising in the intellect. That is the way you should understand consciousness. I am that consciousness and the witness of all the thoughts which rise. Whenever I sit in my meditation, I don't focus on the thoughts, I focus on the Sakshi principle. By saying, I am the Sakshi, I am the Sakshi, I am the one who is witness of all the thoughts which rise. All the thoughts can rise in the Jagrat Avastha or in the Supna Avastha. In the waking state, we get so many perceptions of the objects. All the perceptions they reach my mind only in the form of thoughts. And of course, Swapna means a dream. In dream, there is nothing except the thoughts. So the Sakshi of the mind is called as Purushaha. Body is a temple. The heart is the Garbhagraham. Consciousness is the innermost sanctum, the Lord of this whole universe. That Shiva, that Vishnu, that Devi which you are searching in the temple, that Devi is there in your own heart as the Sakshi principle. Kathopanishad says that all-knowing principle which illumines the entire universe. He is in your own heart. Knowing that, you realize you are immortal. Many people don't know what is immortality. Immortality is knowing the Atma as the ultimate substratum of the universe. Universe is an experience. It is not real. Upanishad says creation is there. It never says it is real creation or unreal creation. Shankaracharya says in the Mandukya Upanishad, it is unreal creation, which is an appearance, which is what we all experience. Through this unreal creation, what is being depicted? What is the knowledge which you are supposed to get? I am that pure Atma which shines in the whole creation. Whole creation rests in me, the consciousness. That is what is the ultimate teaching, which here Yamadharmaraja wants to say. Do this meditation of consciousness in your own heart and realize that truth in yourself, that Paramatma. Ishana Bhuta Bhavyascha, Lord of the past. You see, time is there. We all experience time, no doubt. But who gives us this time? Who controls this time? That is called as Ishvara. Nowhere else you will find how time is gone, how time is gone. There is a controller of time, Kala Devata. That Kala Devata is called as Paramatma. That Kala Devata is the one which is responsible for the rise of the Srishti, for the existence of the sustenance of the Srishti of creation. The same Kala is responsible for the Laya, resolution of the Srishti. Includes everything, including my body. My body is only a small, tiny little thing. When you talk about creation itself, Kala Devata, that is why in Bhagavad Gita, in the 11th chapter, Lord Krishna says, I am the Kala Devata. Kalosmi Aham. Very beautiful. See, when you understand Upanishads, you can link all the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita mantras. Same truth is being revealed. Jivatma seems to be limited when he is identified with the body, but when he is identified with the soul, or which we call it, see, soul is a very, uh, it's a word which is a very confusing word. Somebody had written to me also to define what is soul. Very confusing word, English word soul. It can mean body, it can mean reflected consciousness, it can mean original consciousness, the soul of the universe. Universe, it can mean the universe. So different meaning according to the context. So Paramatma means he is the Kala Devata. He is the controller of the entire movement of the whole phenomena of waking state, dream state, sleep state. It's a phenomenon. Limited space is in a pot is a delusion. Space is always limitless. I have taught this before also. In space, bodies are gone. Body exists in space. Room exists in space. But we say the body has got limited space. There is limited space in the room and all that. That is only for Vyavahara state. Tataha na vijugupsate. I become fearless by knowing this consciousness, limitless consciousness. Etat Vaita. It is this consciousness, Nachiketa, which you wanted to know, which is the Atma Swarupa. Like in Chandogya Upanishad, 9 times the teacher says, Tattvamasi Shvetaketu, Tattvamasi Shvetaketu. Again and again, Uddalaka, the teacher, again and again teaches Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi 9 times. Here, Lord Yamadharmaraja teaches Nachiketa 12 times. You count all the Etad Vaitad mantras. 12 times Etad Vaitad is repeated in Kathopanishad. And this is the ultimate teaching of Kathopanishad. Okay. Now let's go to the next mantra, which is the 13th mantra. It's a
अङ्गुष्ठमात्रपुरुषः अङ्गुष्ठमात्रपुरुषः ज्योतिरिवाधूमकः ज्योतिरिवाधूमकः ईशानो भूतभव्यस्य ईशानो भूतभव्यस्य स एवाद्य स ऊष्वः स एवाद्य स ऊष्वः एतद्वैतत् एतद्वैतत्
Angushtamatra Purushaha. Same example continues in the third. It is all meant for upasana, meditation. Normally, consciousness is all pervading. But then for upasana purpose, meditation purpose, we say it is of the size of the thumb. Now, where do you experience consciousness? In your body. From the tip of your from the from the tip of the nail to the toe, you will experience consciousness. You, the individual. So Jivatma seems to be confined to this body because he is aware, his awareness is only limited to the body. But why is it limited to the body? When Punisha says consciousness is all pervading, it is everywhere. It is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Anantam means limitless. You should know the reason. The reason is mind is limited. Each one have a mind, a limited mind. That size of the mind is size of the body. Elephant body has an elephant mind. Ant body has an ant mind. So awareness in the ant is only for its own body. So wherever the elephant feels the touch, you touch the elephant in the tail also, it will know. Similarly, I in the trunk, if I touch anybody in the leg, they will know. Yes, you are aware. That awareness is limited because it is the shine of the consciousness in the mind of the person. That mind only allows you to go up to this extent. That's all. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad describes what is the nature of jiva. In Panchadasi, I have described this Jyoti, Swayam Jyoti Brahmana. Those who have done Panchadashi, 6th chapter of a chapter, you can remember that. This consciousness is our real nature. It can be compared to a flame. Without the smoke, a smokeless flame capable of illuminating everything. So this consciousness is like a flame. It can illumine everything in the universe. It is a light. In the presence of the eye, I come to know the form and color. In the presence of the ear, I can hear all the sounds which are there. In the presence of the skin, the sense organ, I can get the touch, the sense object called as touch. Mind is all pervading. It is the center for receiving all the impulses of the 5 sense organs. So it is the locus for all the sense objects. But what about consciousness? Consciousness is the illuminator of the mind in the 3 avasthas. In the Jagrata Avastha, all the five sense organs are also illumined. In the sleep avastha, the sense organs are put to sleep. Mind is also sleeping. Consciousness alone is there. In the absence of consciousness, mind is not known. Sense organs are not alive. In the absence of consciousness, means what? Consciousness is all pervading, it's eternal. But mind has gone to sleep, the upadhi. Therefore, consciousness is called as Jyotisham Jyotihi. Swayam Jyoti, the light of all the lights. That light is called as Ishana. That light which illumines, it also illumines the concept of time in the intellect. Where do you have this concept of time? Search. It is only in the intellect. Time is a concept of intellect. And that intellect is illuminated by consciousness. So is there a reality called as time? No, because it is a fleeting thing. It is only a temporary thing. But it is always saying it is there, it is there, it is there, it is there. When I have a thought of the past of my childhood, then the past time is getting born in my mind. When I think, what will I do after 10 years from now? The time gets born, the future time gets born in my intellect. But both the past and the future is illuminated by what? It is illuminated, it's not by the mind itself. You will say that the mind itself illumines it. No, mind is inert. There is a central light, which is the light of consciousness for the mind and all the sense organs of all the bodies, not only your body. That is the way the creation is. Saeva Adhyaha, the same consciousness exists now, it existed in the past, it will exist in the future, it is eternal. This is something you have to meditate. Nitya Chaitanyam. Try to meditate on this. Take this one word, Nitya Chaitanya. I am that consciousness. I am that consciousness which was in the past, which is in the present, which will be in the future. The world of body. I see my body only in the waking state. I don't see this body in the sleep state. In the sleep state, I am the consciousness. That consciousness is what Kathopanishad is revealing, what Yamadharma is revealing to Nachiketa. When Nachiketa asked the question in the 20th verse of the first chapter, first section, some say that there is something after death. Some say there is nothing after death. Is there anything? Oh Lord, teach me that. This is that consciousness. Etat Vaitat. Etat Vaitat is referring to the awareness, consciousness principle which survives death. Death is only of the body. I am always there is our real truth. It is like the truth, it is a fact. Jnanam from the Upanishad. Experience is different. Experience is body is there, body is not there. That is experience. Like the sky is blue. The sun is rotating, sunrise is happening every day. It is an experience, but it is not a fact. What is the fact? I don't die. I am the consciousness. I am eternal. I have no death. That is the message of the Lord. Such a beautiful message. Only thing is, my mind should be able to absorb this truth, retain this truth, remember this truth, not only once, but throughout my life. If I can retain this knowledge, I would have tremendous benefit according to me. Tremendous benefit because of the Advaita Jnanam. So much we have covered today. We have covered Advaitam in very great depth. In these mantras, the Jivatma survives. Saha Osa sorry. Sukshma Shariram survives. Eternal Chaitanyam survives. What you wanted to know is why that. Okay. I will see if I can finish one more verse. Let me see.
यतोदकं दुर्गे वृष्टं यथोदकं दुर्गे वृष्टं पर्वतेषु विधावति पर्वतेषु विधावति एवं धर्मान् पृथक् पश्यन् एवं धर्मान् पृथक् पश्यन् तानेवानुविधावति तानेवानुविधावति.
What it says in this mantra is they try to develop the Advaita vision, your life. One rainwater comes down the mountain slopes. It is scattered by down the rocks. It reaches the ocean. Similarly, all our punyam and papam ultimately they give us the vision of this world of objects when we are in the vyavahara. Suppose you look at water, you know that water is divided, it gets destroyed, it gets disappeared. But when you look at the water in a bigger context, a wave can get destroyed, but water, the concept, if you look at it as the ocean, it is one unified Atma. It is one unity which is there in water principle. Same thing, Jiva Atma, when you see it as different jivas existing in the world, each body is a jiva. That is what the mistake committed by Sankhya people. So what will happen? You will see a world of plural. Many jivas, many atmas are there in each body. There is one atma. That means this is a wave darshana. It is not the water darshana. Wave. When you see division, it means you are seeing the wave. When you see water, you see Advaita. One immortal Atma is reflected in the mind of all the human beings. I am that Chaitanyam which has no birth. Water has no birth. Wave has got a birth. We will understand not the water. I am not the wave, but I am the water. Similarly, the Jivatma understand I am not the Jivatma, I am the Paramatma. I am the Sakshi Chaitanyam. I am the eternal consciousness. Whether you want to look at yourself as the wave or the water, it is your choice. After doing Upanishadic study, if you can hold on to the concept of consciousness, which is the essence behind the body, that is called as holding on to the principle. Etat Vaita. So, in this mantra number 14, it says, look at yourself as the consciousness, not as the body. Okay, let's look at the next verse. This is the last verse of this the second chapter, first section.
यथोदकं शुद्धे शुद्धं यतोदकं शुद्धे शुद्धम् आसिक्तं तादृगेव भवति आसिक्तं तादृगेव भवति एवं मुनेर्विजानत एवं मुनेर्विजानत आत्मा भवति गौतम आत्मा भवति गौतम.
Yeah, it's the same concept as verse number 14. One Atma, one water is the ultimate essence of the entire ocean. One Atma is the essence behind the entire universe. Shuddha Udakam, Jivatma and Paramatma. Both are identical. Why are they identical? Because both of them are consciousness. So when pure water is poured from one tumbler or one mug into the ocean, it becomes the same water. You cannot distinguish the tumbler water. You cannot distinguish with the ocean. Similarly, once the Jivatma understands that it is the same consciousness as the Paramatma, Paramatma is the whole universe. It's the experience of the universe is Paramatma's experience. There is no separate Paramatma anywhere in Vaikuntha and all that. Whenever you see the universe, that is what we say Surya Bhagavan. Surya represents the whole universe because it illumines the whole universe. So one Atma Chaitanyam remains as the substratum for the entire cosmos. Man minus ego is God. It's a very famous statement Swami Chinmayananda makes. You remove the ego from us, you become God. You become the consciousness. The only obstacle for all of us in the study of spirituality is our ego, which is a shadow. It is not the reality. The ego thinks that it is the karta, ego thinks that it is the bhokta, ego thinks that it is the atma of this body. Atma Bodha, there is a verse somewhere around 26 or 27, where it says, because of this adhyasa done by the ego, that it is the Atma. There is the the attributes of the ego which is with the body is mortal, ego thinks it is mortal, Atma gets superimposed on with the ego with the body. Drop the ego adhyasa, the appearance, and see yourself as the Atma Chaitanya. Then you become Shuddham, purified. This is not an event in time, it is cognitive experience. There is no travel involved, it is a merger. It is only dropping the notion that I am someone different than the whole cosmos. There is so many people in this cosmos. Each one is different, is Dvaita vision. Everything is Advaitam, is the concept of moksha. By right understanding, I drop the false notion that the world is real. World is neha nanasti kinchana. There is nothing called as world. What exists is consciousness. What will exist is consciousness. Always there is only one Atma, which is the ultimate teaching of Upanishad. Kathopanishad is a brilliant Upanishad to understand this ekatva and to understand this neha nanasti kinchana is one of the brilliant verses which tells you the whole story of Vedanta. Today I told you the story of Vedanta, taking that one verse and building the entire concept of Advaita based on that verse. So who am I? I am the immortal Brahman. I am the immortal Atma. Brahmana or Atma is a consciousness, Chaitanya. All are just words. In your own mind, if you understand the reality as pure Chaitanya, without anything else in it, that is the Moksha Bhava. It is the Jivan Mukta Bhava. With this Bhava, the first section of the second chapter ends. Sukshmatvat Durvigneyatvat. You see, when we started this topic, we Lord Yamadharmaraja said, this topic of Atma is very, very subtle, razor's edge. You will fall down if you are not understanding correctly. We have tried to understand with full clarity this Advaita Atma and this vision of the Advaita Atma, if it can be lit up in your mind again and again, contemplating on the verses of the first section. There are 15 mantras. Pick up some mantras here. There are beautiful mantras in Kathopanishad for contemplation. You can make a list of 4 or 5 mantras. Live with those mantras throughout your life, and you will have no problems of understanding Vedanta. With this, I close today's session. And next week, we will start the second section, chapter 2, section 2. It consists of 15 mantras. And then there's one more section, which is section 3, chapter 2, with 18 mantras. Okay, so another 33 mantras are remaining of Upanishad. And then we will see which Upanishad we will start after Kathopanishad. I think 33 mantras are there. Another 10 weeks, roughly 10 weeks, we will take to finish these 33 mantras. And most probably, I will take Prashnopanishad after Kathopanishad with Shankara Bhashya. It's a very, very beautiful Upanishad. I'm still writing the notes for it, but I hope I can finish it. So next week, we will do section 2, chapter 2. Oh. Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I don't see anything in the chat box. If you have any questions, uh, Shanmugam will allow you to unmute yourself.
Yes, Vishal here.
Yeah, Vishal, go ahead.
Sir, I just wanted to, now Brahman is everywhere. In fact, there's no place where there is no Brahman. Then why this talk of finding it in the heart, in like a thumb, the size of a thumb? This, थोड़ा मेरे को ये समझ में नहीं आता है कि भाई जब सब जगह है, in fact, we are within the Brahman. Then why do we talk about finding it somewhere, specific and with a size?
Good. Yeah, see, basically, all the minds, they are not able to understand this concept called as all-pervading. See, you have a fair amount of understanding because of all-pervading nature. You are able to understand, but many minds they cannot understand this all-pervasive nature, like space. Space is very difficult for an intellect to understand. But if it is finite, then it is easier for many intellects to start. You see, this is just a starting point. It is not the ending point. For those people who cannot meditate on the all-pervading nature, for those people, this mantra is given. This is purely for the sake of upasana only. In Brahma Sutra, there is a very big debate on this mantra. Same question which you are asking. If Brahman is all pervading, how can you put it in the form of a finite and say that it is in the form of? It is like seeing the Lord in a temple. You go to a temple, you see Rama, Sri Rama's idol, and you see Vishnu or Shiva. In that idol, you're trying to superimpose the infinite, what is timeless, what is spaceless, in the finite. So similarly, in this small, it is only a symbol for meditation, nothing else.
Point taken, sir. Thank you.
You got it, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Vishal. So Shama has given details of this, okay, what she has understood so far. Shama, do you want to say anything on your what you have put on the chat box?
Yes, Shekharji, it is mainly this because, in this verse 11,
Yeah,
we talk about the mind, and which, of course, I assume the purified mind
yeah, correct.
is the one who will attain this, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah, nana kinchit, iha nana kinchit asti.
yeah,
Yeah, whatever. So, what my question is that, say, it's the purified mind which gets the jnana chakshu, which can see the satyam. How do we understand the purified mind alone? My question is the purified mind. The closest I can understand is a sattvic mind or a
correct.
good mind. Yeah.
Yes,
Now, my further consternation is that the sattvic mind or the good mind is in itself is such an obstacle. I mean, I find it's an obstacle because the goodness is the greatest obstacle which I've written. Armed with the Advaita Jnanam or the Tattva Jnanam, it can actually see the essence of Samatva Bhava or Ekatma Bhava. The more this Jnanam is sinking in, the more good one wishes to do, even at the cost of one's own spiritual seeking or discipline. Or so, what I'm a bit kind of lost as to how do I go between this duality of dharma, adharma, and try and yes, what is my swadharma, so that then I can further go beyond the good mind.
okay. See, you're mixing two concepts here. One is about Atma being Nirgunam, completely Nirgunam. Sattvic mind will see the Nirgunam, Nirguna Atma. That is a higher nature, that is a Paramatika Satyam. But the second part is Vyavaharika Satyam. Vyavaharika Satyam is also there. It is being experienced. It is an appearance. Only thing is, what Upanishad says is, it is not Satyam, it is Mithya. It is only Vyavaharikam. It is not a absolute reality. It is
So,
only a relative reality.
So in
So,
the Vyavaharika Satyam, there is bound to be, and it is, there is this good and bad and evil and whatever. So one ought to be guided within that framework, not mix the Shastra Jnanam of everything is Brahman. You can't mix it in the
you can't
Vyavaharika.
mix it. You can't mix the Vyavaharikam with the Paramarthikam. Paramarthikam is the ultimate knowledge.
Mhm.
Yeah. See, that is why I made the statement that
Mm.
Advaitam is
Mm.
not absence of Dvaitam, but it is in spite of Dvaitam.
Okay,
While,
that's a very big
while
statement.
seeing Dvaitam itself, I am saying there is only Advaitam in this universe. While experiencing Dvaitam, I am making a statement, the sun never rises.
Okay. Yeah, no, that sun example is very good. That even although I know the sun never sets, in the Vyavaharika, I'm continuously saying, oh, sun has risen, sun has set.
Same thing. My eyes will only give Dvaitam every day. Even after 20, 30 years of study, my eyes are not going to show me Advaitam in this world. No way. My ears
Okay.
are to listen
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
music.
yeah. So therefore, then the final conclusion, my sadharma at my stage of life, what shall I do or what I should not do, should be purely guided by these Vyavaharika Satyam.
That's it. You
Okay.
follow dharma while you are in Vyavahara.
Yeah, in reference to wherever the time, place, space
Correct.
one is. Yeah.
Reference
Okay.
to the time which is there and the place where you are situated, you are facing a certain set of circumstances.
Yeah. And
That's
what
it.
is helping further is the Shastra Jnanam is actually helping profoundly in how I'm experiencing this experience, which is in the mind. Experiencing this Vyavaharika Satyam in my mind. Because although I see it happening, I can be as a Sakshi, simply watch
Correct.
my
You see,
experience.
that's correct. You see, all these are happening in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Maya Shakti makes it appear as if it's outside.
Mm-hmm.
Maya Shakti makes it look as if everything in the whole world is being experienced outside my body, exactly
Mm-hmm.
like in dream. In
Mm-hmm.
dream, the dreamer experiences everything as if it is outside the dreamer.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing happening in the waking also. This job of converting the Ekatma into subject and object world is the job of Maya Shakti.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the knowledge of Ekatma, the knowledge of Atma or Turiyam Brahma that alone can put an end to samsara and put an end to this Maya power in this mind.
And just one more question in the same context. See, do I understand that the only time when I will actually be going beyond this whole concept of good and bad is when I have truly realized Brahman, and
Absolutely. Yes.
yeah,
Till
that is,
then,
I've become a Jivan Mukta.
yes. Till then, till this concept of Sakshi has not struck your intellect, till then you have to continue in Dvaita. That's all.
Oh, I see. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Sir, one more
Uh,
question. Sir, one more question, sir.
yeah, Vishal.
So I just want to confirm whether my understanding on this point is right or what I'm missing. And this has been there with me for quite some time. Many places, many books, spiritual, Buddhist, Zen, they talk about dropping the mind, killing the mind, going
Mm,
beyond the mind, stopping the mind. These are the four
mm,
phrases they've used. Many places they use this phrase, mind, mind. In fact, they say that the mind is the problem. The
yeah.
mind is the veil which is preventing you from seeing the truth. This is what
Yeah.
I have, read it many places. Now, today, a very wonderful thing we read, and it's really made me happy. The few things which you said, and I may be wrong, sir, therefore I'm confirming with you. You said mind is the only instrument. How can we find the Brahman without the mind? I mean, what other instrument do we have other than the mind? And what I realized today, I may be wrong, but that's how I'm confirming, is that maybe the dropping of the mind, what it means is that not dropping, but the purification of the mind. That means that the mind is a mirror. Now the mirror is dirty. So actually, what I think the dropping of the mind or going beyond the mind, maybe a better example is that we have to not drop it, kill it, stop it. We have to keep cleaning it and purifying it
Mm,
until it stops vibrating
mm,
with the vrittis or with the kya bolte,
perfect.
dirt, with the dirt. When it stops being dirty and it becomes so clear, the mind, because of purification through through the Ashta Yoga, like, yam, niyam, and all compassion, kindness, blah, all the good things that we have to do, that the mind becomes the real instrument of seeing. It becomes so clean that now you can clearly see the Brahman. Is that the way I have to interpret the mind, sir, or is there some other things I would?
Okay, to a certain extent, you are right. I will tell you why you are right in what you have said. Number one, purity of mind is required for sattva to shine in your mind. Purity of mind, that means if your mind is agitated, it has got raga, dvesha, it has got all the connections, attachments with the world, with the family, with others. Mind is always dwelling on the family, on the world, on raga, dvesha. That is called as impure mind. So if your mind is able to, with the Shravanam, a lot of purity gets out from the mind. Lot of the basic impurities, they come out. The moment you start having Shravanam of Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, many of the impurities, they get cleaned up. So by cleaning your mind, making it, mind is the only instrument that there is no doubt about it, because without mind, what are you? You are nothing. Suppose you sit in samadhi and you don't see anything, you don't experience anything. Is that the way you want to lead all your life? You want to learn. For learning, even to listen to this Vedanta talk, even to listen about Atma, you need the mind. How can you destroy the mind? So whenever they talk about destruction of the mind, manonasha, what really it means is, it is not destruction of, it is not physical destruction of the mind. It only means purification. Purification of the mind through Hatha Yoga principles, Ashtanga Yoga, and all that. It will help you. Japa, many you can do Parayanam, Vishnu Sahasranamam. All these are for purification of the mind, for getting the one pointedness of the mind. One pointedness, purification, these are all the stepping stones. What really gives you moksha is not the purified mind, but it is Shastra Jnanam. After you have purified the mind, come to Kathopanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, listen to this Neha Nanasti Kinchana, the 11th mantra. That mantra will strike a pure mind and it will reveal the truth. For a pure mind, suppose your mind is not pure and you are listening to Neha Nanasti Kinchana, it will not strike you. This particular mantra, it will just be like something you've heard and okay, but it will not strike you as the truth. If it strikes you as the truth, that means you have understood the reality. That means your mind is pure. What does it say? It says that I alone exist is the final truth. It is the jnanam. It is a fact. Nehananasti Kinchana means there is nothing except Brahman is the ultimate truth of creatures. I have to take it as my truth. The consciousness. Today I am now mixed up. I am mixed up in my roles as a father, as a mother. I'm totally confused who I am. So today I am a mixture of the pure consciousness and the body and the mind. I'm trying to separate the body, mind, and try to see this consciousness as shown by the mirror of Upanishad. This 11th mantra is a mirror. When I contemplate in my mind, what happens is I experience a world. Whenever I experience a world, what will I say in my own mind? What will I say? I am experiencing the world. It is an appearance. It is an adhyasa. It is an appearance. Like I experienced my dream yesterday night, I also experienced this world today. In this world, there were so many things which happened. When I'm experiencing it, it appears as if everything is real. But Upanishad knowledge tells me Paramatika Satyam. Paramatika Satyam is a higher order of reality. It is the reality of Atma, not the reality of Jivatma with the body, mind, and the world experience. That is how I should understand this nature of mind. This nature of mind is the truth revealed by the Upanishads. And in this truth, what this manonasha, what is the meaning of manonasha when it comes to the realization of pure Atma? What is the meaning of manonasha? Shankaracharya clarifies this in Mandukya Upanishad. He says in the fourth chapter of Mandukya Upanishad, there is a verse which says, Manonasha means nothing else but falsification of the universe. Nothing else. It is not a physical destruction of the mind and nothing else. Those a lot of people, they are confused. They think, oh, I have to destroy my mind tomorrow morning when I wake up. I should not see. I should not have a single thought. I should only be pure. That is not manonasha. Manonasha is falsification of the experience of the world. It's false. That's all. It is a notion in my mind. I drop the notion of reality attached to the world. I only say that because I have the full faith in the Veda, it tells me neha nanasti kinchana. In the ultimate essence of the whole cosmos, there is only Atma. There is only one truth. That truth is called as Brahman. That truth is what is called as Aham Brahma Asmi. I am the pure Atma.
So can we say that when people say drop the mind, what they really mean is not dropping of the mind, but dropping of the notions which the mind by default had in itself. Dropping
Yes,
those notions rather than dropping
yes,
the mind itself.
that's
Yeah.
correct. Dropping the notion that this, whatever I'm experiencing, you see, ultimately experiences come into the mind only. Whether I'm seeing a form, whether I'm hearing a talk, whether I'm listening to some music, all the whole world is only consisting of five sense objects. They all come into the realm of mind only. There is no person on earth who can destroy his mind. Nobody. It is impossible.
Absolutely. Yes.
It is impossible. You cannot destroy nature. You see, you cannot destroy Manonasha. It's a contradiction.
So one step further, little, if you don't mind, one little step further, sir. Now it is said that the finite mind cannot understand the infinite, or like you said, logic also. So I mean, if I can, ask this question, I'm a little, uncomfortable in asking. But then, when you get moksha, the mind, of course, is like you said, it cannot be killed. It's there, it's existing. But then, what has happened? Is it still? It's not moving because of purity. The vrittis have stopped coming, and it's not because of effort, but because of understanding and the dropping of the notion. I mean, sorry, I'm asking this question. I'm, but little.
See,
I mean, if you don't mind, little pushing it up here, sir. If you don't mind.
as soon as you have woken up from a dream, do you ever think what all happened in the dream and what was do you come back and say, oh, that dream really was that snake there? Was the tiger there? Everything about the dream is gone. Similarly, when you rise to the level of Atma, everything, including your mind, is gone. There is no questioning, there is no concept of any question in your mind when you have realized your true nature and you have woken up to that higher nature. Exactly like from dream, you wake up to the wakerhood. Similarly, from wakerhood, you rise to the level of Atma, and there you apply Neha Nana Asti. Don't sit in the waking state and apply the knowledge. Neha nanasti kinchana. It is like going to a dream and saying the dream doesn't exist. You have not woken up, but inside the dream, you're trying to say a dream doesn't exist. You cannot say that. So this is only at the higher level. You have to drop your notion of I am this body mind concept. Let your mind glide into this higher self. Automatically, all these questions about Manonasha, everything else will be completely gone. No question will come the moment your mind gets a peep into that timelessness. It is something which will happen to you as you keep reflecting and as you keep listening to the scriptures.
Thank you so much, sir. Love you, love you, love you. Again, today I've moved maybe 0.1% more, but it has resonated somewhere in my being. And this has been a very good session, sir. I love
Thank
you
you.
for it. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Nandu, you have a question?
Yeah, thank you, sir. Very nice session and discussion as well. We in the scriptures we say like one is about like Vachartha and one is about Lakshana. So the Neha Nanasti Pinchana and here purely and it's relating to like Acharya what we say Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. And the Angushtamatra Purusha, the two shlokas which came, and my thought and just maybe correct me on that. If we can try to correlate this with like as in 18th chapter Bhagavan is saying, Ishwaraswara Bhutanam Radesha Arjuna Suchati. So here like Bhagavan is using word as a Ishwara. And you always mentioned that in like 9th chapter, 4th and 5th shloka. One is about like a Saguna and one is about like Nirguna. So the ultimate truth is the Nehananasti Kinchana. So nothing else than the Brahman. And that's how Acharya is also mentioning Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Jiva Brahmeva Napara. There Ishwara is not there. So whatever is in the Saguna, all this Ishwar word is there. Whereas ultimate truth is only the Brahman.
Correct. You're right. Your thought process is in the right direction. See, the 9th chapter, the 5th verse, it says, the world is not in me, which means it is the Nirguna Avastha, means it is the Turiya Atma Avastha. See, when you're studying the 7th mantra, you should say it is equivalent to the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, 5th verse. When you study the first 6 mantras, it is equivalent to the first, the chapter 9, 4th mantra. World is in me, world is not in me. World is not in me is apavada. World is in me is adhyaropa. So the Upanishad for a junior student starts with the world only. It starts with the waking state, dream state, sleep state. It says that this is the description of the dream state. Eko Vamshati Dukha. All that descriptions we see in the first 5, 6 mantras. Then comes the last, the 7th mantra. Whatever has been said in the first 6 mantras, it negates in one shot, apavada. You are not the waker, you are not the sleeper, you are not the dreamer. The entire experiential world is gone. Same thing in Kathopanishad 11th mantra. Before we talked about so many things. In the 11th mantra, the Lord of Yamdharma says, Neha Tanasti Kinchana, which means what? World is mithya. This concept of mithya has to be 100% clear in your mind. It means it is available for experience as per the law of karma, but it is not factual. It is not there at all. What is there all the time is consciousness. Then there is no question of what Vishal was asking, is there anything else? Once you have negated the world of waking, what else is there? There's nothing. It is only this Adhishtanam Brahma. Adhishtanam is the consciousness. That Adhishtanam is like the waker. Waker is Adhishtanam for the dreamer. For the waker, the Adhishtanam is Turiyam Brahma. In the level of Turiyam Brahma, they have Nana. In the waking experience, the world and Brahman is together. In the absolute state, like I drop the dream world, I drop the waking world, I hold on to this pure consciousness, and knowing this consciousness as my real self, I can say that is Satyam. Satyam means it exists in three periods of time: past, present, and in future. When body dies, Nachiketa wanted to know, is there anything or not? It is this Atma which is always there. So, another very good question. I'm glad you are able to link, and Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya is exactly what is being described here. Good. Thank you. Anybody else has any other question?
I raised a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, you have put a question here. Where is your question? Can you explain to me your question?
That Nirvana Saktam, last one.
I can't see the question.
It is the that is in Nirvana Saktam. Shankaracharya says,
Yeah.
Mano Buddhi Ahankar Chittani Naham. How you
Yeah.
interpreted based on the 11 mantra of today?
Mano Chintani Naha means it is exactly what 11th mantra is saying in the Nehananasti Kinchana. Nehananasti Kinchana means no mano is there, no buddhi is there, no ahankara is there. That is exactly what Nirvana Shatkam and this mantra is exactly the same. But ultimately, what is there? Okay, what is not there is being said in all the Nirvana Shatkam mantras. The first portion of the Nirvana Shatkam mantras: I am not the body, I am not the sense organs, I am not the buddhi, I am not the punya papam. All that is the first portion. But I am the Atma. That is the second portion. Chidananda Rupam Shivoham Shivoham. So here also in the 11th mantra, Nehananasti Kinchana. But along with that, what is there? Etad Vaita. Etad Vaita refers to the consciousness is left over after you have negated the universe. What is left over is not nothing. It is consciousness. It is Atma Chaitanya.
But for negation also, this mind is a part. Mind is important, na? For negation also, mind is important factor. And you asked me to negate the mind.
Okay. See, Sakshi or consciousness is the one which witnesses the mind. Mind with objects, mind without objects. Mind with objects is the word. Mind without objects is the no mind. But that no mind is witnessed by consciousness. Now am I making it clear?
Yeah, getting clear.
Mind with objects is with the word. Sakshi is the witness to that. Mind without objects in the sleep state exists. But who is conscious of that? Sakshi. So Sakshi's nature of illumination of the mind, witness of the mind, never changes. This is one of the profound statements made by Shankaracharya in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad Bhashyam. He says the mind's nature is it will always be revealing the mind. Your mind, my mind, all the minds are being revealed by one consciousness. That is why we say it is non-dual. It is Advaita. That consciousness is Advaitam. Mind is Dvaitam. Mind and the world is Dvaitam. There are many, many minds. Each jiva is a mind. But the jiva, when you say mind means what? It is mind with consciousness only all the time. Whenever you say it is without consciousness, there is a reflection of that mind even in the absence of the world. So am I
Okay.
clear?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. It is the same. I think you have not attended the Panchadasi. In Panchadasi, there is a very beautiful example given. In a stage, there is a light. The light is illuminating when all the scenes are taking place in the drama. When the drama has gone, all the actors have left, the light is still shining and it is revealing the empty stage. That stage is called as the mind. The mind with the world is the entire drama which goes on. When the drama is finished in the sleep state, what happens? The empty stage is also being illumined by the same Sakshi. Sakshi is the light.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else has a question?
May I add something on that, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the question which was asked and maybe about like Nirvana Shakta and the final shloka, which is something similar to Nehananasti Kinchana, which is saying like Aham Nirvikalpo Nirakara Rupo Vibhuryapta Sarvendriyanam Sadame Samatvam Namaktirna Bandha Chidananda Rupa Shivo. I believe that is the perfect thing, which is Nehananasti Kinchana.
Correct. See, this Nehananasti Kinchana, you should apply it in all the Nirvana Shakam mantras. First mantra, second mantra, all the mantras you apply it. Because that is how you negate. That is the Apavada portion. The first portion is that there is a buddhi, there is a body, that is Adhyaropa. You negate it and then you see, Vedanta is very, very easy to understand. There is one consciousness. That consciousness is there with the world. World means this entire universe with my body, mind, with all the body, the whole cosmos. The same consciousness is there also when the whole world gets resolved. Either the world can get resolved by death, or it can get resolved in the sleep state, or it can get resolved when the whole pralayam happens. The reasons can be different for the layam stage, but the teaching is that consciousness is always there. I hold on to that consciousness. It is not easy in the beginning, but as you hear more and more, you can say, I am that pure nature, I am that pure consciousness. I go through this body's experiences as an appearance. Okay. Thank you. And I think we'll stop here. I don't see any other questions. So we'll continue next week with the second section of the second chapter. Namaste. Thank you.
You